I was struggling to walk 25 to 50 metres. I was constantly losing my breath. I was having 5 to 7 angina attacks a week, which involved breathlessness, sweating, chest pain. You had that thought going through your head, is this the big one? Is this the one that's going to knock me over? I have not had that worry in the past several weeks. And a little voice in me kind of said, wow, this is actually working. The breathlessness has dramatically improved. Just in the amount of tolerance I've got to exercise again has vastly improved. This has been the first treatment that I've actually had which there has been no negative side effects. It's given me a portion of my life back. It really has. And the one thing I am really looking forward to when I get home is going to be able to do things with my wife and son, like walking on the beach and all that, because I have not been able to do that yet. And I'm really, really looking forward to that. My name's Peter Furlonger. I'm 55 years old. And what led me to seek treatment was what I believe to be a vaccine injury and issues that have evolved from that. Well, I started experiencing symptoms about 3 years ago, which was roughly 3 to 4 weeks after the second jab vaccine. In that time, I have seen 2 to 3 cardiologists. I have been diagnosed with pericarditis, myocarditis. I've been told I've had false negatives in that sort of area. I've had 3 invasive procedures to clear blockages which supposedly weren't there. I've also had been diagnosed with ANOCA through the cardiologist I'm seeing now, and I've also got cardiomyopathy disease, where 57% of my arteries were blocked in my lower limbs and all that. The cardiologist I'm seeing now, Dr. Neil, he actually suggested this therapy as it's non-invasive and it had very good results. I got forced to the point where I had to stop working full time. My wife and I had to sell up our family farm out west and move to be mortgage free because I was incapacitated to the state where I was struggling to walk 25 to 50 metres. I was constantly losing my breath. I was having 5 to 7 angina attacks a week, which involved breathlessness, sweating, chest pain, and they were all the signs of what Dr. Neil said pointed to early heart failure, and he suggested that if I had the means to retire and give up work, I should very seriously consider it. Every option that I looked at pretty much involved more and more medication. There was a lot of trial and error. A lot of that medication, a lot of side effects from it. Ones that made me experience chronic fatigue, basically. Things that gave me chronic headaches. This has been the first treatment that I've actually had which there has been no negative side effects. I was going to be happy if I saw a 50% improvement in what I could do. The first day I was here, I was struggling to walk 25, 50 metres. It's now close to 7 weeks later and I can walk over 1 kilometre before I start to experience the symptoms I felt before. It's given me a portion of my life back. It really has. And the one thing I'm really looking forward to when I get home is going to be able to do things with my wife and son, like walking on the beach and all that, because I have not been able to do that yet. And I'm really, really looking forward to that. Look, brutally honest, I was sceptical, and I was wondering, I was very doubtful about whether it was going to work or not. About 3 to 4 weeks into it, I started to notice big differences. And when I say big differences, it was like, hang on, I haven't had an angina attack or one of those attacks in 3 or 4 days. And it just got to the point where after 4 weeks, I started walking the last half of the distance from my hotel to this place, which is a good 350 metres. And as Brian pointed out earlier today, when I told him that I managed to walk from my unit to the shops, he said, wow, that's 1.3 kilometres. And a little voice in me kind of said, wow, this is actually working. And yeah, it's just great, hey. I went for a walk last week, and I was in week 6 of the treatment, and I left the apartment block and I was just out because I was bored, and I just went for a walk, and I ended up down the shopping centre, and then I got a couple of things and I started walking back, and halfway back I started knocking up, and I thought, oh geez, I'm knocking up, this isn't good. And then Brian politely pointed out to me, he said, you do realise I googled that and it's 1.3 kilometres from your apartment to the shopping centre and you walked halfway back. And I've gone, holy cow, wow. And I didn't realise it. So yeah, my tolerance to exercise, light exercise, is vastly improved. Yes, part of the treatment is blood pressure. Every start of every session, end of every session. It's been a long time since I've seen my diastolic below 100. And when I started to see a lot of regular 120s over low 80s and all that, and Brian would comment on that and say, well, your blood pressure's coming down. Your blood pressure's coming down. Yeah, that was a highlight for me. It sounds boring, and you'd think I'd find a better highlight than that, but I have not seen my blood pressure that low in a long time, and to me that speaks volumes. The treatment is completely painless. There is no discomfort. If anything, it's too comfortable, because the amount of times I've nearly fallen asleep during treatment, I cannot count. I would say it's the lack of pain and the burning feeling in your, in your legs, and because of the microvascular disease when you're walking. The breathlessness has dramatically improved. It seems to take me longer to actually start to think, oh, hang on a second, I'm running out of breath, I'm knocking up. The big one is the angina attacks, because where I was at before, every time it happened, you had that thought going through your head, is this the big one? Is this the one that's going to knock me over? I have not had that worry in the past several weeks. It seems to be that infrequent now that it just doesn't bother me. I think the benefits speak for themselves. As far as my outlook on life's gone, the treatment's put me in a better mental position. It's made me think long term into the future, where I really, in all honesty, wasn't thinking that long term before. The physical side of it just shows itself. Just in the amount of tolerance I've got to exercise again has vastly improved. The treatment could not be easier, really. I mean, Brian and yourself make the environment so welcoming. You've become more like friends than clinicians over the course of a 7-week treatment. The treatment itself is very comfortable. My only gripe would be is now I'm hooked on the Rookie TV series because I've been watching that while I've been doing the treatment. The first couple of weeks I was a bit tired after it, but after that, yeah, not a problem. Yeah, for sure. The biggest thing for me was being away from family for 7 weeks. Not everyone is in the position to be able to fly home for a weekend here and there. I was very fortunate through family that I was able to do that. My bottom answer would be put in the effort, do the 7 weeks, because what's 7 weeks if it gets you 7 years? If that makes sense. And if it improves your quality of life, 7 weeks is a very small sacrifice. Yes, they have. I feel a lot more confident that I'll be able to do a lot more with my family, which makes me kind of a little bit emotional, but in a very happy way. I would tell them, give it a shot. It could be the answer you're looking for. No harm in trying. I've had nothing but a positive experience. You guys have been absolutely awesome, and I can't say that I can't speak highly enough of you and what you do and what you are offering. And if somebody else in my position tried it and they got half the result that I've got, I think they would still be very happy. Personally, I am very satisfied with the results of the treatment. And if you're watching us out there, this was sort of a last resort for me prior to possibly going through something far more serious. If you don't consider this treatment, you're not doing yourself any favours. I'd highly recommend considering taking this on, for sure, 100%. It's changed my whole outlook on the future, really has.